Okay, I'm Myrlet Jeazul and today I'm going to talk about the Day of the Dead, and in Mexico is known as Dia de Muertos. Okay, so let's start. First, you may wonder what it is. Basically, the Day of the Dead is the most known and representative celebration that we have here in Mexico, and we celebrate it with our families in order to remember our deceased relatives because we have the belief that in these dates, that is November the 1st and November the 2nd, they came to visit us. And it's a date when we commemorate them and we remember how much we love them. And we remember that death is not something bad, it's just something that comes with life and it's a part of our lives. And someday we will die, and that's not bad because we have our relatives that will remember us. So let's start with this. And basically, in Mexico, here in when it comes Day of the Dead, we put these altars that are basically the central part of the celebration. Well, it's not like the central part, but it's one of the most important elements that we have in we must put if we want to celebrate this. And as you can see in the pictures, there are many elements, significant elements that we have to put in the altar. For example, let's start with this. At the top of the altar, we can see that the families put a photo, and these photos are intended to be on the top of the altar in order to remember the deceased, and in which we are doing the altar. For example, here they have their grandmother, and in the altar also we have some fruit and food that it's put there in order to honor the deceased. And this food had to be the favorite food that the deceased had. For example, here we have tamales, hojaldra, and we have banana. You may wonder what is a tamal. Well, basically a tamal is a duff that is involved with this leaf, and this leaf is comes from the corn. And also here in the altar we have the candles that represents basically hope and faith, and these candles illuminate the way for the deceased to reach to the altar. We have these flowers. Here we have the marigold flower that in Mexico is called cempasúchil, and also we have this purple flower that at least in Veracruz is known as diente de león. And this flower, I'm going to talk about this flower later, and also the hojaldre because they have a deep meaning. And basically, those are the elements of the altar. Also, we have the structure of the altar. As you can see, there are many levels in these altars, and they are supposed to represent different levels. For example, the heaven, the earth, and the underworld. So let's keep going. And here, as I said before, we have the marigold flowers, known in Mexico as cempasúchil. And basically, the marigold flowers are with they are in a colorful yellow color, and represents they guide the souls of the deceased people to the altar because of its colorful appearance and the strong scent that they have. And we put the petals in the ground to make a path in order for the souls of the deceased people to reach to the altar, as I said before. And we have the most representative icon of this celebration. We have La Catrina. She's basically the most representative icon in this celebration, and she represents the dead with fancy and elegancy. You can see that basically it's a woman, it's a skull dressed dressed up with a colorful dress with these flowers. And some Mexican women, when it comes to Day of the Dead, they dress up as Catrinas. And in my opinion, they are very beautiful because just look at the color, just look at the dress. I love Catrinas. And also we have these sugar skulls that it they can be in the altar, but they can also be eaten by the Mexican people in this celebration. And they can be, or from sugar or from chocolate. My favorite ones, personally, are the chocolate ones, but also we have the sugar skulls that are basically pressed sugar, and they are delicious and very colorful. I really like them. Now we have here the hojaldra, as I said before. The hojaldra is mostly eaten in this time of the year, and it has a circle shape that represents the cycle of life to the life until the end of the life. The things that we have here at the top of the hojaldra represents the bones of the dead people. But I found something very interesting, and is that in Mexico, not all the breads of the Day of the Dead are the same. In every state we have a different kind of dead bread. For instance, we have in the bread in Edomex, that basically is the capital of Mexico. And as you can see, it's the same as an hojaldra, but it's black. And so there are some people that have the belief that this black thing are ashes from dead people, real dead people, but that's something stupid. That's not correct. Basically, this thing that is on top of the hojaldra of this hojaldra is sugar with this color in order to represent the ashes, but we can put real ashes on the bread. That will be some kind of weird. Next, we have the one in Guanajuato. We have this kind of bread that is basically ghost bread, and here you can see that it has a completely different shape from the hojaldras, and it's called doll pan. No, it's called basically ghost bread, and it has the intention to simulate a ghost. It looks like a little doll, and it's covered with this white thing, and this little thing, red thing there, represents blood of the deceased. And we have here the real doll breads that are from Guerrero, and these are supposed to represent the deceased people, and this pink thing is supposed to represent the blood of the deceased people, as here in Guanajuato. And my favorite one, Veracruz. I really like this bread, and it's called pan de juguete, and this name is because of the colorful appearance and the decorations, and it has a variety of figures. It can be from a doll or can be an animal, as you can see in the image, and this is because we in the Day of the Dead we not only honor our deceased relatives, but also our deceased pets, which we consider part of the family of our families. It's my favorite because I'm from Veracruz, but I'm not saying that all of the breads are, but all of the breads around Mexico are very beautiful. And now let's discuss how we celebrate the Day of the Dead in our faculty. Here I was with my friends, and we were making a dynamic with my classmates for the subject of cultural manifestations. And basically this dynamic consisted of asking the students a question about the Day of the Dead, and if their answer was right, we gave them a chocolate skull. And they are my friends, and I was there with the cempasúchil flower and on my head. And my classmates, they also built some tombstones. For example, we have the tombstone of John Lennon with some flowers and his image on it, and his name and the year when he passed away. Also, we have here an icon from Mexico, a very famous singer that unfortunately passed away on 2012, that it's called Jenny Rivera. And in Mexico, we all love her, and it was a shame when she died. And next, we have the altars that our classmates did, and I think it was they were really beautiful. They put a lot of effort on these altars, and here we can see some pictures of some singers, famous Mexican singers that passed away. For example, here it can be really appreciated because of the quality of the image. But here we have Joan Sebastian, Valentín Elizalde, we have Cepillín, we have Jorge Negrete, we have Juan Gabriel, basically famous singers that have passed away. Also, we have this altar with the skulls that I already mentioned, but they are not sugar skulls. They are just decorations. And yeah, here we have another altar with this path of Cempasúchil path in order to guide the souls to the altar. And I think those ones that are on the altar were teachers that already passed away on the teachers from the faculty that already passed away. And here we have some sodas that they used to like, because as I said before, you can put some items or drinks that the deceased used to love. Here we have the altar of Maria Felix, that it was also a famous icon of Mexico, and I think that my classmate did a really good job putting this thing on the floor to make the form of Maria Felix. And basically, thank you so much for paying attention. And as a conclusion, I can say that in Mexico we don't celebrate the death of something bad. Yes, when a relative that was closer to you passed away, is very painful, and you obviously miss them. But you can think that that is just a step, and we have to appreciate life, and we have to appreciate the persons that we love that already passed away.